Now today we're working within the Nissan family on this 2003 Infiniti G35, and let me show you the problem that we have with this vehicle. Very common problem with the first generation G35s. And that's the AC was always on and the blower motor was on full. The radio stopped working. So you can either have these complete units repaired or you can go with an aftermarket unit. Touchscreen, doubled in, a lot of capability, new HVAC controls, so we're in good shape now. We'll go through the steps regarding removing the interior trim pieces, transferring a couple things over, get the old radio out, install the new one, and you'll be in good shape. So let's get right to it. So the first step is we need to remove this part of the console, and the best way to do that is use one of these removal tools. These you can find if you just Google or go on Amazon, the type of tools you need to replace a radio or remove trims, interior trim, and this is what it looks like. Okay, these are fantastic. So what you want to do is grab the tool and pry up a little bit. See how it starts to come loose? And there you go. Now, let me put this to the side here. And I'm just gonna put this down. Now you have some connections. Let me grab another camera so you can see this. Now right here, you have the change tray. And right back down here, the best way is use a flathead. Press down. There you go. And then you have another one. This one is for your hazard light, okay? Okay, and there you go. You have a little washer here. Lift this up. I'll place it to the side over here. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now on the bottom here, on the bottom of the radio and the HVAC controls, you have two Phillips size screws. Now we need to remove this panel right here, and then there's two screws hiding to the left of the cigarette lighter or the accessory. So let me just put this down like so. Okay. And once you move down this panel, you have one screw right here. Okay, that guy. And another one. Where is he? Another guy. There he is. Right up here. Okay, that guy right there. Just follow the panel. You can actually see where it latches in right here. And same with the other guy down there. Okay. Okay, and what I like to do is just place everything, all the screws, everything you start to take apart, just place it in a plastic bag, make things simplified. Now if my sound quality is off, I apologize. I'm using, just to make this go quicker, I'm using more than one camera. And that's it. Okay. So now we're dealing with the passenger side. Here's the kick panel. This is the door speaker. We need to remove this panel, and then there's a screw that we need to get access to. So let me place this down. Okay, and very quickly, if you're curious, right here you have two clips. Okay, so this is how it's situated in the vehicle. So two clips essentially live right there. Now we'll open up the glove box, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws they need to remove. And then we have one more Phillips size screw. So now what you want to do is grab the sides or the edges of the glove box and pull it down. Okay, there we go. So this being your accessory plug, your radio, to the right of it, you have a screw right here, and then another one right there, okay? Now we'll loosen up the right side here. Just pull out and down. There you go. And then before you remove this panel, you just need to pull back this connector, and that's it. This panel, just place it to the side. So this is essentially what it looks like on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now we're going to remove the trim panel around the clock. Just be really gentle with this. My plan is to pull toward me with my left hand and use the tool with my right hand. And just take your time with this. You can slowly hear it clipping here. There we go. Does hurt your fingers a little bit, but it's better than cracking one of these up. There you go. Okay. And we have a connector back here. Let me just get to that right here. Okay. Then you have 2 screws, 2 Phillips size screws holding on the bracket. This, make sure you don't want to drop these screws. Bracket, and there you go. And then we have one more Phillips size screw, a little tight. There you go. Now when you're ready to remove the radio, the vents come with it. Okay, so the passenger side and the driver side vent comes with it. So place your tool in here and pull from the radio as well. Take your time. Don't forget it's plastic, this stuff, so let me get a little longer tool here. Some extra leverage. There we go. A little sticky. Okay. Take your time. Now if you take a look, can you see that? Yeah. Right up here there's a bracket. That bracket has to clear all the way down, okay? And be careful with these brackets, because sometimes when you try to remove an assembly, this bracket somehow starts to touch the dash here, it will scratch it up for sure, okay? So just take your time. Okay. Bring it down a little bit. And there we go. Okay. We're getting there. Slowly, but we're getting there. So the rear of the radio, yuck, we have your antenna here. And pull from the body, don't pull from the wiring. There we go. Okay. And don't let the wiring throw you off, because the new kits make it pretty darn easy to connect everything. and out she comes. So now we need to get these HVAC vents out from the radio assembly. And if you take a look, you have a clip right here, there's another clip right here, and then two more on the opposite end. And then this would come out very easily. However, it's not that easy to do. So what you could do is slowly, oh, there you go. So that one came out actually pretty easily. Sometimes what happens, so one clip lives there, the other one lives here, and then on the opposite end, one lives there and one lives there. Sometimes on the opposite end it can be a little tricky. In this case we were okay. Let me flip this around. Make sure you can see this, okay. Another technique you can use is just slowly from the bottom, carefully pry up while pushing on the opposite end. Just take your time. These things are key. They really can help you out a great deal. Okay. Oh, there you go. Now just in case if you get confused between the two vents, if you take a look, right here we have RH, that's for the passenger side, and then of course the opposite end is LH for left-hand drive. Okay, so driver's side is LH, passenger side is RH. Now with this new kit that we're assembling, it does not include this pocket, so we need to remove this pocket from the assembly. Now before we can remove that pocket, we have, let me angle this so you guys can see it. We have 3 Phillips size screws right here. 1, 2, the third one up here, and then another 3 on the opposite end. Okay, and then lastly, we have another 2 on top. Okay, let me turn this around. And here's the pocket, so we need to install this with the aftermarket assembly. Now this is the Metra part number 99-7604. This essentially separates the radio controls from the HVAC controls. So the first step is reinstalling the vents from the factory radio. So before you install these vents, just make sure they're the correct ones. So in this case, you want the lettering for up, and we're doing the right hand side first. That's the passenger side first. So we'll just line up the tabs. Then you have your little pocket, which lives on top of the dash. This, you just slide down. I'll come in for a different zoom in a second. And let me just reposition the camera here. And when you install the pocket, you're going to use the same screws that you removed from the factory assembly. Okay. Now the kit includes a top radio housing bracket, and that lives right on top of the assembly. So just line up the bracket, okay, like so. And then of course they also give you 2 Phillips size screws. Now this being a double DIN radio, we need to cut the center bar right here in the kit. Now if you're using a single DIN radio, which is this pocket right here, then no problem. But again, because we're going double DIN, we need to cut out this guy right here. So now we have the middle bracket removed. And if you're curious on how I did that, I just used a hacksaw blade and just cut the ends. It came off within a few seconds. So we're in good shape there. Now the kit includes 2 sets of brackets. You have your double DIN brackets, that's the thicker set, and then your single DIN brackets. That's the thinner set, okay? So in this case, we need the doubled in. You have a channel. So if you take a look, one end is completely flat, the other one has a channel. The channel goes inside toward the radio, okay? So let me show you. Let me show you here. So we take one bracket, just line up. You have an indentation right here. That's going to mark up right there, okay? So my hand is in the way. Here we go. So just line it up. There we go. See how it slides in there like that? There's a little scratch here. I'll have to sand that down off camera. And same on the other side, okay? Just line it up. Maybe a little bit easier from the outside. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's a tight fit, which is a good thing. That's exactly what you need. Okay. So let's grab the radio. So now we're going to slide in our new radio, which looks really, really good. This is a Kenwood unit, by the way. Like so. So now we need to screw it down to the assembly. Now in this case, we're going to use the hardware that comes with the radio, okay? You're not going to use any hardware that comes with this kit. You're going to use the radio hardware. So let me quickly read the instructions for this Kenwood, get the right screws, and I'll come right back. Okay, so what I've done is I just installed one screw on each side just so I can square the radio in the unit. Then I'll attach two more here, two more on the opposite end, and then we'll start with the wiring. So now we need to wire the radio to the vehicle, and all that we're doing here is matching colors. And I'll try to explain this in very simplistic terms. It really is not that bad. It looks intimidating, but it really is not that bad. But all that we're doing here is this harness connector came with the radio. So this came with the Kenwood unit. So when you buy a Kenwood, a Sony, a Panasonic, whatever, they will include a harness connector. But as you can see, there are a lot of wires, and they're all different color. But the beauty of it is you're just color coding everything. So here we have the harness connector that plugs directly into the vehicle. And all that we're doing is we're just matching the colors. That's all you're doing. So this comes with the radio. So for example, yellow goes to yellow, okay? You can solder these, or you can use wire connectors, and I'll show you what that is. Actually, I'll show you right now. These are wire connectors. You just connect it, you splice the two wires together, put the cap over it, and you're done. Whatever works for you. What you do not want to do is don't put your wires together, then just use electrical tape. That's not good enough. You have to solder it, or you got to use something like this. Whatever works for you. In this case, the kit included the connectors, which is a nice plus. But that's all you're doing. So yellow to yellow, red to red, black to black. Just match up all the colors. You will have some wiring that you do not use. All that you want to do is put some tape on the end. If you have heat shrink tubing, you can even use that on the end, whatever works for you. And that's it. So just a little demonstration on what you're doing. In this case, we'll do the black, which is the ground wire. And you can use wire strippers, by all means. I'm just using regular wire cutters, just being really gentle with it. Okay, so what you want to do is splice these two wires together. So black to black. Okay, now again, you can solder these products, or you can use this. This product is awesome. I'll include the part number in the description box below. But essentially all that you do, you unscrew it, so you have two ends, okay, two ends. Take one end, this is the end you need to start off with, and essentially all that you're doing, place that connector in there, okay, take the other end, and just put this right on top. and that's it. And this isn't going anywhere. So this is a really very quick way as opposed to soldering. Now this radio, like most radios, has Bluetooth. So actually this is probably good enough, but what I'm going to do is place the microphone for the Bluetooth right here. The visor guard is just too thick for it to work. So right here we'll put the mic, I'll wire it down and shoot across the dashboard underneath the steering wheel right to the radio. So our mic is installed. I just ran it all the way down the E-pillar, all the way down, and then right here, straight across underneath the steering wheel, and here it is. So they give you plenty and plenty of wire. There you go. So there's plenty of room, and once we button everything up, I'll zip tie everything so it's nice and neat. But that's essentially how I installed the mic. So what I'm going to do now is just connect the wiring. So in this case we have 2 harness connectors. So you just find the corresponding connector. Okay. And let's see, this one goes here. And then I'll grab the radio, reconnect the battery, and I want to power on the radio and make sure that it is working. Now before we hook everything up, I did place a piece of rubber over the shift knob, and that's because this is very, very sharp. So just place something over it because you don't want to scratch anything up. And here's our radio. So on the back, in this case, you just take the connector and you plug it in right there. So again, this is the connector that came with the radio. Okay, here we go. I'll plug this in like so. Let me turn this so you can see this. Oh, of course, don't forget your antenna. This also acts as a ground. So we'll plug that in. We'll also check the HVAC controls to make sure everything is working. I can tell we already have power because I see a red light blinking here. So just want to make sure I don't crack anything up. Okay. Now, let me do this so you guys can see this. There we go. That's better. Grab the keys. I'll put down here. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, it's powering up. Let me check the HVAC controls. No, I didn't have to plug those in. I'll do that in a second. Okay, finish. Radio. Oh. Alright, cool. Let me find something here. So we're in good shape. Now as you do this, you just want to make sure you don't have any wires hanging. All the wires need to be tucked behind the radio. The tabs line up, which they do on the top and bottom. And we're pretty much in the home stretch. Now we just need to reinstall the body panels or the interior panels here. Just going to go over everything, make sure the hazards work, all the cubby holes are in good shape. As you can see, they are, the vents, and that pretty much wraps it up. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.